Yes, so what is CFP, right? Certified Financial Planner certification is considered the standard for the financial planning profession worldwide. CFP professionals have demonstrated the knowledge, the skills, experience, and ethics to examine their clients' entire financial picture at the highest level of complexity required of the profession, and work with their clients to build a financial plan so they can live life confidently. So I have Derek here today. Derek, how are you?
Hi, very good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, Derek has over 10 years of experience in financial service industry, has experience with banking, financial planning, investments, mutual funds, and has lots of certifications that we can actually see at the background, right? Derek, maybe we can start by you telling us your story, what's your background, and what brought you to teaching?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's my pleasure. So, hi everyone. My name is Derek. So just like Anya said, so I will be the instructor for the CFP 01 and 02 for this September. So really forward to seeing you there. So what brought me to teaching and what's my experience? In short, I think it's a long story, but I have experience. I started as a financial advisor. So at that time, I was doing a private high net worth management. So I was dealing with a brokerage. I was dealing with the different insurance companies, mutual fund companies at that time, because I believe this is the really only way that I can provide different services. Because, for example, if you are at the retail banking, let's say if you are at RBC, if you go there and speak to their advisor, so usually what I can do is to offer you the RBC mutual funds or RBC other products, but they cannot offer the others. So that's the reason why I chose to be a side of a brokerage, because I believe brokerage can really bring values to our clients. So at that time, I was doing the financial advisory for a couple of years, and we did pretty well. And we have our shop set up in Vancouver. Right now, I still have many affiliates over there, and they're still working. And later on, I was moved on to the more on the investment-driven side. So as you can see, I do have my CFA here. So this is another destination, very similar to CFP. Obviously, you have a CFP as well. So CFA is more focused on investment. So later, I move on to the investment analysis. I worked with portfolio management. Right now, I reside in Toronto. I work at a Sun Life Global Investment, leading investment management team's product. So what I do is I make sure all the products, performance reporting with the institutional analysis and also the retail investment analysis to be aligned with our objectives. So those are kind of things that what we do here. So for one example, if you take like a mutual fund fact sheet and you flick to the back and you see there's a bunch of sayings say, oh, you know what, Federal Bank just doing this, and then the Bank of Canada just do this or that. This is basically my job, my daily job, and that is our product. And in terms of what brought me to teaching, I think this is actually interesting. And I, to be honest, I really love teaching. So I think it's about like 5-6 years ago when I was trying to prepare for my my other destinations and also my MBA at the time. At that time, I was thinking about, you know what, since I do have these destinations and many people are interested, especially in the LQP, CFP and the CFA stuff. So I was giving them some of the free help, giving them the tutoring, and I find, oh, you know what, actually the result is pretty positive. And they all give me a positive feedback. So I was thinking, okay, you know what, it's probably something I can launch. And I really feel this is a very fulfilling experience for me. And to be honest, I really encourage you, if you're trying to prepare for something or study something, and please just think about how you would teach these concepts to someone else. Because at least if you are a financial planner, you have to teach your client, right? So I think that's where I started and really feel teaching to be a very fulfilling experience. So that brought me to Ashton. I used to teach LQP at Ashton. Right now, move on to the CFP platform, and I'm very, very excited to be here.
We're also excited to have you here. And just to sum up, you're CFA, CFP, CAIA, LLQP, MBA. That's all your designations. So I missed something.
Well, yes, yeah, those are pretty much the bigger names, yeah. So I finished LQP, CSC, CIFC, also the couple other programs, including the financial modeling program. I used to take some of the programs in CSI. And I also use the Abacus for my CFP. So I have finished this FP1, FP2, and also the CFP they used to have a conduct. Right now they don't have it anymore. They replace it with something else. But yes, I do have a lot of experiences in just teaching myself, prepping with this, and also with other
Yeah.
students as well.
You spend half of your life learning, and now you're sharing. Right?
Yeah, I think that's
That's incredible. And you're also, previously you mentioned that you're also maybe thinking to take even a CPA, right? You're qualified to take that. And
yes, yes, in the past, yes. I was able to take the CPA at that time. At that time, my decision point was whether I want to launch my career in more financial analysis or more on the retail or institutional banking, or perhaps to be more on the auditing side. I chose to take CFA at that time, and I launched myself onto more financial planning with the private wealth management.
yeah,
So
I
I
think
was CFP.
a lot of our students actually also debating which path to take, right? So where to go, how to choose the career in the financial industry, right? There are so many things you can focus on. So who do you think should take CFP? Who's the best fit for, who will benefit from the program the most? What kind of people or what kind of goals they will get if they complete this program?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think this is a very good question. I think I can answer probably in twofold. So I think personally, I think
Mhm.
everyone would be able to be benefited by the CFP program. And to be honestly, I do have many destinations, but I do believe CFP is probably the most critical one, and
Mhm.
actually help my personal finance the most. Because
Mhm.
what CFP does is really to tell you how to manage your personal finance, whether you have $5,000, whether you want to start investing in your RSP, TFSA, or if you have a kids and you want to invest in RESP, or perhaps right now you want to buy your first house. So how are you
Mhm.
going to buy your first house? Are you going to save out your down payments? And then once you save your down payments, and you probably put some money in your RSP because you want to use the HPV plan and take out some money as part of a down payment, take some tax advantage, and you can purchase the house, and you have the calculated amortization table, those kind of things, risk management, life insurance. This is something that we really learn from the CFP that doesn't really learn from anything else. If you're talking about like an MBA or like a CFA or any other programs, they are really talking about a very high level, very superficial, very on the surface. That's something that we don't really, I wouldn't say we don't care, but something that is probably too high is unreachable. So for example, right now we know Bank of Canada, we have interest rate at a very, very low level. But on the personal ground, except for our mortgage interest rate is slightly different if you choose the
Mhm.
mortgage rate. Otherwise, you don't really feel anything. But CFP is completely different because this is something that you would do when you have your first kids, when you just get married, when you are entering your next stage. And I think this is something that is very critical because right now we know the bond interest rate or fixed income interest rates are very, very low. And the demand of this kind of planning will be even more because most likely a lot of people, or based on the survey, I think there will be 60 to 70% of the people or individuals in Canada, they are not comfortable or they don't feel confident when they are going to retire. So I think this is a critical issue. That's the reason why CFP is getting more and more popular because this is something we need to think about. And for the professionally, I think it really depends on your career objectives. If you are in right now, if you are in like retail banking, if you are in like FSM or if you're FSR and you want to move on to the FA or like a FP, CFP is usually a required destination, or they will require you to finish this program within 2 years after employment if you're on FP level. If you move
Mhm.
on to, I guess, the higher level and the IROC side, so we know we have the big five banks, they all have the IROC channel. So let's say RBC Dominion Security, CIBC Uganda, Scotia McLeod. If you want to work as a financial planning specialist, then this is an excellent start. You need to have a CFP. You need to be a CFP person in order to get employed for those kind of positions. Then you can launch from there to whether you want to become IA, AIA, portfolio manager. That will be down the road. But I think CFP is an excellent start, not just for the personally, but professionally. If you really want to develop within the retail wealth management industry, this is something that you should really consider.
Thank you, Derek. You're really inspiring even me to take the course in your next upcoming intake. That's the questions I think a lot of Canadians do get when buying a house, when, you know, starting a new family, thinking of retirement. You're right. It's the course for everyone. And what are the topics that are covered in the course? What modules are there? Could we talk a little bit more about the content of the CFP offered at Ashton?
Yeah, absolutely. So at Ashton, if you check our website, we do list our 12 courses. Right now for September, we only have CFP 01 and 02. And if you move down to course descriptions, then you can see 8 courses that we listed. I believe once you finish these 8 courses, then you will be fulfilling the core. And you should be able to move on to the next level. And for all the details to become a CFP or QAFP, I suggest you to review the website from FP Canada, because they are the licensing body and also they host the exam. So for this September, we are going to launch CFP 01 and 02. The first one will be on the financial planning profession and the financial services industry regulation. So this one is probably more on the introduction. It's more on the surface to let you know what kind of regulations and what is the financial services industry in general. So we will talk about a couple of different things. We do have a textbook available. I think what I would do is, in addition, sometimes what I want to do is I want to beyond the textbook a little bit. So really to talk about what the industry will look like. Just like when I was mentioning, if you look into Canadians retail wealth management space, you do see the big 5 banks and what's the structure, right? So I think sometimes I will go beyond this a little bit, but majority of our time will be focusing on the curriculum. We'll do some simple questions with slides. And if this feasible, then we can talk about some of the financial planning practices right now I've been observed or what I heard. And the second course that we will be having is the financial analysis. This is probably, I would say, the core of the CFP or any financial analysis or alike destinations. Because you will be learning a concept called TVN, time value of money. So basically how you calculate whether you have a present value, future value, and or other information you need to calculate the cash flow. So for example, what if today you say, I want to retire at age of 65. I want to save up for, let's say $1 million. So how much money I need to put in per month or per week? So this is something that we will need to do. Or if you just have a mortgage that is 35 years amortization period, 4%, and you have life insurance, for etc., you probably need something to do with the financial analysis. So this is something we will be going over. And after this September, we will go to the other sessions, including the registered retirement plans, government benefits plans, registered education and disability plans. We'll talk about economics the following semester, law and insurance and human behavior. So there are a lot to cover, but it's not too much. It's actually very manageable if you put your time and effort. And my role and my goal is really to facilitate it and help you to understand and to connect with the concepts. And I really hope you can be successfully pass your exam on the first attempt. But don't get discouraged if you are not, because this is normal. This is just something we have to learn, we have to go through. Yeah, but basically this is something that we'll be going through for this program.
Mm-hmm. And I just, maybe I misheard you, but it's 12 modules of core curriculum that we're offering. For some reason, I thought you said 8. I don't know.
So we have 12. We have up to CFP 12, but right now we are listing on the time. If you look at the dates, so there are only 8 are being available right now. So we have a schedule.
Okay. Oh, yes. You're right. You're right. Okay. But there are 12 modules that you have to complete of core curriculum, and then also move to advanced curriculum, which is like one course to get your CFP designation. Right, and we, as Derek mentioned, we have in September we have CFP 01 starting and CFP 02. And just to highlight, CFP 02 financial analysis is probably one of the most important courses because it's a recommended prerequisite for all other courses. So webinars will start on Thursdays 4 to 7 PST, so Vancouver time, and it starts from September 10th to October 22nd. Or, of course, you're also welcome to join on Tuesdays 4 to 7 for CFP 01, September 8th to October 20th. All right, and maybe we can, what benefits do you think students get in studying with Ashton and taking our courses live online? Could you maybe talk a little bit more about live online classroom, how it goes, and what activities you're doing in class?
Sure, absolutely. So this is online classroom. So we will be sitting together, and I will have my just like this session. I will be talking about the course contents. I will be sharing the PDF or sharing the PowerPoint slides. And sometimes if applicable, what I would do is I will really share you some of the real life examples that I've encountered before. Or sometimes what I want to do, for example, for the financial analysis, the CFP 02, what I would do is I will really show you the calculation underneath. I will probably show you the Excel because I really think you need to understand what's underneath in order to really comprehend, not just like memorizing the formulas. It will never work. Because you need to be able to understand this comprehensively. So this will be the tools, and it will depends on the class feedback and to do adjustment. If we have more students are coming from, let's say, retail banking, then probably we can talk about what are being the practices, or maybe we can share, because this is environment. And this is another thing that, because if you are considering CFP, so you are sitting with a bunch of students that are also interested in CFP. I think this is a great networking opportunities nowadays. And if you really want to see someone, whether they will be going forward, is really to look at their continuous education activities. This is what I believe. This is really my core. I really believe in study. I really believe in self-improvement. So I think this creates a very good atmosphere and environment for everyone who really wants to learn. And I think if there's time, then I will also want to share, or maybe we can discuss some of the current topics. And as you know, I do have a very deep investment background. I'm currently working in investment and management function. So I will probably talk about what are the current challenges of the financial services industry, or sometimes it could be, I guess, just the very discussion. But I think this is something that we can create. And I think Ashton, in addition to me, there will be other instructors, and some of them have 20, 25 years of experience. And they can give you the different perspectives. And I think this is something that we can really get. In addition to that, will be just on a time tracker. So when you take this course, you don't need to worry about when you need to finish this, because we are actually going week by week. So this is something I think is very important for anyone who wants to study anything, and to make this a serious target.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Derek. And yeah, I see we have some question from Taryn, when all other 4 modules will be available. And actually I have an answer for that. Basically, the materials of those 4 modules were reviewed and revised and updated because industry changes and change. So they're just being revised, and as soon as they are updated, it will be most likely within the next few months. They will be available as well on our website, listed on our website as well. So you will be able to take all 12 modules, no worries. And in terms of admission requirements, you have to be 19 years old, and that's all for Ashton admission requirements for this specific program. And of course, you have to be interested in this industry and be excited about financial planning. And of course, for technical requirements, because this class is live online, you have to have a proper computer Wi-Fi connection. And we really recommend that you also have a headset and a web camera on during the class as to actively participate in all the interactions with your instructor. Right, Derek, it's better to talk to actual people than empty screens, right?
Well, absolutely, I think that's right.
Yeah. And in terms of materials for the class, our students buy materials directly from advocates who we work together in partnership for this program. So after you register for the course, we send you the links and you will be able to get all the materials directly from them. So yes, this program is offered in partnership with both Advocates and FP Canada. Derek, maybe you can mention a few steps after students complete this course. What can you say about FP Canada and what steps are after the CFP?
Sure, absolutely. So from my knowledge, FP Canada is actually part of the, so global-wide it is a CFP organization. So for example, if you go down to the States, they also have a CFP certificate, right? So if you want to be a financial planner down in the States, they also need this kind of certification. So this kind of global recognized destination really give you the mobility. That's how I really view it. In Canada, financial planner, this title is actually registered. So it's actually by law, only CFP members can use the financial planner title. So that's the reason why if you look at a financial planner, those kind of job descriptions from like a Big Five, like RBC or TD, for example, they always want you to have a CFP. That's the reason why, because it's kind of legal requirement. And also you need to have CFP in order to charge financial planning consulting fees. So there are things that you can do for the CFP. It really depends on your track. It's very open, be honestly. If you are in the retail banking right now, if your career objections is really to get promoted, if you are currently FSM, FSR, you want to make to the senior, or you want to make to FA, FP, or if you are interested, you're running in retail, or you are an MFDA, you are really interested in going to the IROC, but you don't want to take, let's say, the investment-driven role, then you probably want to take a CFP. Because that can really enhance your profile. Also, if you are if you're the broker, if you are managing your own business, then this is something that you can put after your name and also gives you a very, very good education background. So I think it really depends on where you are right now. So I can't really give you the number, but I recently checked the FP website. They always give us a lot of surveys, a lot of reports. I think what they said is 72% of the FP Canada CFP certificates, they are earning more than $100,000. I'm not putting a stamp on that, but that's what FP Canada offers, because it actually recognizes you as a high-level professional, and this is where you can. I don't want to say it's where you can expect, but this is the typical career routes that a lot of CFP holders are doing or.
Great, and just for your reference as well, I'm posting in the chat the direct pathways to CFP, what are the other things you have to complete. But of course, for more information, as Derek mentioned, always contact the FP directly. We'll mention the details in the chat as well. Yes, thank you. Derek, for telling us a little bit more about what kind of career you can do and how. Is it hard to open your own business as a financial planner? What do you think?
Oh yeah, this is actually a very, very good question. So if you want to start your own business, I think this is something probably we'll cover in law session or organization, corporation structure thing. But in short, there will be three structures you can take in Canada, right? So one is sole proprietorship, one is a partnership, and one is a corporation. So it really depends on what kind of structure that you want to enter into. We can talk about pros and cons in the class, but right now we just want to focus on sole proprietorship. So if you want to become a self-employee, if you want to become, let's say, a financial planner and just register, you want to find a brokerage, it's actually not that difficult. But the difficult part is to really to network and to identify your clients and to really engage with them and to close. Because if you are opening up your business, everything's on your own. You are commission based. You can be licensed as an insurance advisor, or you can license as a mutual fund. So this really depends on what kind of routes you want to take. Most typically, I know a lot of people that they took LLQP and they started a career. They probably go to, let's say, I don't want to give the name here, but I work in the Sun Life. We do have career. I don't work with them, but we do have the career agent. So many of them have the LLQP and they start developing. So at that time, I think they do have some basic salary or something structured. I'm not sure, but they do have a lot of basis based on their commission. So there's where they start, and after 2 years, 3 years, after they acquire experience, they probably will move somewhere else. Sometimes they go to the brokerage and they start their business that way. And once their income hit a certain threshold, they probably want to open their corporation. So at the time, probably your income is more than 100,000. This is where people are recommended because of the test bracket. We'll go over in the course, of course, again. So I do know some people that they are in Vancouver land and they're doing their personal financial practices. They are doing pretty well. If you are interested in going to brokerage, I can make some recommendations. And if you need to connect with someone, just to talk with someone, then I'm happy to, even I had a business before, although yes, I do love the personal financial planning practices, but that's something that you can do. I wouldn't say it's very difficult to open, but it's really on your own to prospect, to close the sale, and also to maintain your relationship with your clients going forward.
So in addition to financial planning skills and knowledge, you have to be a good salesman and have great communication skills, right? To keep your clients and sort of move them from one service to another, right? From investments to something else. Oh, we have one of the attendees raising hand, and I think we can actually give the mic to Taran. So please unmute your mic if you're able to speak. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thanks for taking my question and thanks for the information so far. It's been great. My question is regarding to what you just talked about, because I'm at a position right now where I'm looking to switch careers, and I would like to have my own business with financial planning. I've been involved with investing and personal finance for many years now, just from self-study. So this is something I want to get into full time. Now, you mentioned about when you start your own business, you would have to be under a brokerage. Can you talk a little bit more about that? And also, when you do run your own business, so you would be a financial planner, what exactly can you do with your clients? What I mean by, is it just advising them on what financial decisions to make? Can you help them with investment, with managing their investments and things of that nature?
Yeah,
that's absolutely a great question.
I think this is a great question. Yes, sorry, I'm interrupting you. So I think this is a long question. I probably just give you some kind of general, just based on the feedback. So if you already have some experiences that you are trying to learn it on your own, I think this is a great program for you to enter, because if you don't have a previous experience, and then probably you need something like this kind of destinations to help you. So brokerage is one way you can do it. Essentially, what you really need to do is you need to have someone. So here's the thing: you can't go to, let's say, you can go to Manulife, Canada Life, Sun Life, and say, "Hey, I just want to represent your products." No, you cannot do that. They don't do this for you. So what you have to do is you have to go through some kind of agencies, and this kind of agencies will help you to dealing with all the other contracting, all the legal compliance requirements. So they are essentially basically they are kind of the brokerage dealer, or brokerage means that you deal with like many providers directly. So so if you are a broker, then you can deal with Canada Life, Sun Life, or Manulife directly. But if you are an agent, so that's how we call it. So agent, you can only deal with, you're representing one company. So for example, if you are the Sun Life Career Service agent, then you can only deal with the Sun Life products. So I think this is just the legal requirements. You can't really just get there. So usually you will need to go there. There's actually 2 layers that I don't think we really talk about in our course, but this is something called AGA and MGA. So MGA is usually the managing organization that are actually dealing with all the contracting. So what you do is when you enter them, they will give you some kind of quota. When you hit a certain quota, then they probably give you a certain commission structure. That's very, very depends, to be honest. It very depends on the firm. And the AGA is just like a sub of MGA. So this is the way that you can really launch your business, because when you go there, they will just say, oh, okay, so these are the contracting and this is your commission schedule. And once you hit a certain level, then you can raise. And once you become big, then you can probably negotiate your own MGA with the bigger structure. So if you look at this kind of organizations, like Hub Financial is one of them, if you heard them. But there are many possibilities, really. If you look at the financial services firm out there, they have their own name, and they always, if you read the fine print underneath, there's always the small print, probably like a font size of 6 or 4 that you can barely read. They usually say which firm they get their business from, brokerage from. This is just the channel. And if you want to become a financial planner on that, usually once you have this, then of course you need 3 years experience. You need experience to qualify for CFP, but you can register with them first, acquire your experience, and you apply your designation. And in terms of what kind of things you do over there, certainly if you are, so I guess it also depends on your licenses. So for myself, previously, I can tell you I do have a life insurance license. So I can sell life insurance. I do sell some of the corporate insurance as well, just a very small one, not a big corporate plan, but it's capable to sell very big or like buy-sell insurance that you working with the corporate structure. Or you can work with like a disability insurance, critical illness insurance, those kind of personal things they can title with them. This require life insurance license. And you can also have the investment license. So you can have like MFDA registered, so you can sell mutual funds. So yes, you can do the investment planning with them, but you can only sell mutual funds. If you want to advise on like a stock, securities, fixed income, private equities, then you will need to be registered with IROC or directly registered with the Securities Commission. So I think this is probably the long-term goal. If you really want to go the route, because IROC has a very, very specified requirements, and you can check is IIROC, that's really the investment advisor route. So if you're talking about RBC Dominion Securities, be honest, a lot of them, they are just using that platform. Some of the portfolio managers that I know I used to work with, because I used to help the wholesalers and mutual fund firms to talk to them. Some of them, be honest, they are very mobile. They can go anywhere because they actually own their books. So I guess this is some kind of the structure they can look for in the future. It's not perfect, but it's very broad. It's very broad. And if you want to look for the independence, I think in addition to like Big Five, then you also have like Raymond James, Canaccord Genuity, or you have Hollis Wealth, those kind of things. Oh, sorry, Hollis Wealth is under Scotia, but you can have this kind of brokerage relationships going forward. It depends on where you want to go. It's actually very, very broad in terms of like the retail wealth management side.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you for the detailed answer there. Can I ask a follow up to that?
Yes, of course.
So I am interested in working with individual stocks and securities, and you talked about registering with IROC and looking into that a little bit more. So I am clear on that aspect. Like I'm not as interested in selling insurance. It's more I'm more interested in the investment sides with individual stocks and such.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I think this is totally fine. And the CFP again, CFP is not just on insurance. If you ask me about a QP, I would say don't take a QP. But CFP is actually more holistic and more comprehensive. So you won't really learn on a very detailed basis in terms of like evaluation, but you will learn some like, financial management skills. If your interest is really on the trading side, first of all, that industry is actually very competitive. If you want to become an IRA broker, that usually they will have a requirement. So if you want to go to like say, obviously Dominion Security, they usually require you to have an $80 million books or something like that. I don't remember the clear qualification, but usually that's the benchmark if you want to become an investment advisor. But if you can't just become an investment advisor, a lot of people start with associate. So you can start with associate, then or you start with a kind of supporting function. You're developing your book at the site, and you're supporting the team. And once you hit a certain threshold requirements, yeah. Again, if you are looking for that route, is very commission driven. It's very business orientated. Requires a lot of efforts. But if you can get there, be honestly, the sky's the limit. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Did it answer your question?
Yes, it definitely did. That's definitely what I'm interested in. So I feel like I have to dig deeper into it and decide what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yes, it's better to decide at the beginning, right? So you take the correct pathway. And thank you, Taran, for your questions. And I see that also our team posted a link to IIROC, so you can check for more info there. I also wanted to mention that even though we call this program CFP, Certification Educational Program, this core curriculum is actually good for both, for QAFP and CFP. For QFP, you need to go through 12 modules of core education, and then you can have your QFP exam and 1 year of work experience. And for CFP, you have to go through core education that we are offering at Ashton. And then you also have to take approved advanced curriculum and CFP professional education program. And then you can write CFP exam if you have 3 years of work experience by that time. But this is just the direct path, but there are other pathways that are available there. You can check them on FP Canada website and also by contacting FP directly and checking if maybe you can transfer some of your certifications that you might have been taking somewhere else. So if you have a special case, please contact FP Canada directly. And I think we covered most of it. Derek, let me know if we missed something. But
Yeah, I think we're talking.
huh?
I hope I didn't talk too much.
Yes.
But yeah. Sorry.
No, it was great. Thank you for all the information you shared. And I think if we don't have any more questions or any attendees raising hand, then we can wrap up. And just wanted to mention that if you missed the beginning of this info session, or if you have more questions, please contact us at 604-625-1150, of course, during business hours, and email at ceinfo@ashtoncollege.ca. Anytime, we'll be happy to provide you more answers. Thank you, Derek, for joining us today and brilliantly answering all the questions. And thank you to all the attendees and everyone in the background. Derek, maybe you want to say the last few words for our attendees, maybe some sort of motivation, why to be a CFP certified.
Yes. Yeah, I think that would be great. Be honest, teaching is really just my interest, and I think CFP is a really valuable program. Although I don't really use some of the CFP knowledges nowadays because it's way too comprehensive, you learn a lot. But in terms of the big structures, you actually really learn a lot because you are learning how to manage your personal finance from your registered accounts to investment to taxation. Because I think this is something, and I think this is a challenge that Canadians are facing. And sometimes this is the kind of examples that I want to say when I was a broker. I'll be honest, this is what we do. We say there are something misconnections out there that, for example, if you want to go for investment, you want banking, you go to the bank. If you want an investment, you go to the investment advisor. You go to insurance, you go to your insurance advisor. But they don't really communicate with each others. And you want to test, you go to accountants. But here's the thing. What if you are making $500,000 like this year and from investment? Be honestly, if you don't do anything on the tax planning side, then half of them will be gone because the taxation is very certain that you can avoid, right? So I think this is where the CFP value is really coming in. You are not only taking care of investment, you're not only taking care of insurance, you're not only taking care of taxation, you're actually taking care of a holistic structure, and you know where to source the information. It's not like we are only learning one thing and then we just do that. No, it does not. It does not a financial plan, right? So you really need to think holistically. So this really helps a lot. I think this is a great starting point to launch your career if you're really thinking about financial services. So anyway, I really hope to see you in my class.
Maybe I'll join. Inspiring.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. Yeah.
I actually have one more question for you, Derek, that just came up. You mentioned about investments, insurance,
Yes.
and as people specialize in different things. But I know there are some insurance that, like let's say life insurance that comes with investment, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
What do you think of those mixtures? Just wanted to hear your personal.
So if you take this program, you will know in terms of the investment and the insurance, this kind of usually we are talking about two things. One will be the universal life and one will be a whole life. And whole life can be subdivided to participating whole life or non-participating. Participating whole life, usually you're talking about like a Canada Life or Sun Life. I think some of still have it. And non-participating, you're probably talking about a performance that Manulife offers. But they are actually tying to it. I think they are facing some of the challenges because the dividends are coming down. So those are the challenges they are facing right now. But I think it is still, I personally do have them. I think they are very promising in terms of long term because if you're looking at a fixed income rate right now, if you look at the global markets, if you look at the interest rate that you will be earning from your GIC, from your bank account, and we know stock market is pretty volatile. If we invest in the equity funds for like 10, 20 years, there's no guarantee that we can always return a good amount, right? But life insurance is different. Life insurance is highly regulated in Canada. So they will have kind of this kind of annuity, right? So they always give you kind of the base and you launch from above. So I think it is still important to have them because it's a part of your, I guess, your personal finance management plan. We have a different toolkits, right? So this is about CFP, right? So you have your investment. I need to do RSP. I need to do TFSA. I have kids. I need to do my RESP. And I probably have my personal retirement pension plan with my RPP, those kind of things. Just a little acronym. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it. For the insurance, you have your life insurance. You probably only do the short term because right now probably you have the bigger liabilities, but you probably don't need a $1 million whole life because it's too expensive. Probably you want to have some longer term insurance, so kind of hybrid structure. And in addition to that, you probably want to have disability insurance if you currently don't have one from a corporate or you don't feel that is sufficient. And you probably want to have critical illness insurance because one of the 3 Canadians are actually will be getting their, they will be suffering from critical illness. That's per statistics. So it's not what I'm saying that. For the taxation part, again, RSP, how are you going to withdraw from RSP? That's also another interesting strategy to take. That RSP, when you are 71, you'll be turning to RIF, and at that time, you will receive from the government benefits. We are talking about old age security, you receive since 65, GIS, so we're talking about CPP. How are you going to optimize them? So this is something, I think this is something that's very holistic and very attached to your life. Even if you don't use them, but you will still benefit from just knowing this because you know where pieces are available. So sometimes I can't remember the detail. What I would do is I already have this basic knowledge and then I can expand, I can just Google and I know what I'm looking for. So I think this is probably one of the benefits. Sorry, I think I take too far. By participating in insurance investment like insurance, I think they have their merit. For some people who are really interested in investments, they probably don't like the way they can lock you in, right? But I think it's still an important part, especially for people who are conservative in nature.
So it's financial planning. There is no easy answer, right? It has to be specifically designed for.
Sorry to say that, but yeah, be honestly, there's no easy answer. And even in the investment analysis, like I can easily give you two-sided stories, right? So if you look at markets evaluations, I can easily give you two-sided stories. In the same as CFP, let's know optimal approach. Let's only. It's always case by case. I think this is also the, I think this is something that is something it cannot be replaced by a robotics. Like if you, like Taryn used to mention, like the investment analysis, then, you know, there's a lot of being replaced
it cannot be replaced by one formula, right?
Yeah, exactly. That would be, yeah, exactly like a quant trading, we're talking about CTA, those kind of things. They could be easily replaced. But financial planning, this kind of relationship and case by case driven, it's very difficult to put into the algorithm, right? So we still need to understand our clients. And sometimes when people, for example, putting the information on those kind of mortgage calculator online from our BC website, for example, sometimes they don't really put in what they need. They just think, okay, you know what, my risk tolerance is this. I can bear 20% downfall in the next 10 years. That's my tolerance horizon. But in reality, unfortunately, most people can't. They will start calling you when the stock market is 4 by 10%. When they take 20% and they say they will buy more, but in reality, they don't. So I think this is something that CFP or FP Canada trying to introduce. They're trying to introduce the human behavior part because there's a lot of biases. If you ask people who trade stock, I can guarantee you 70% of the time, 80% of the time, you can hear some winning stories because this is what a human nature is, right? So we want to take a more methodical approach towards your financial planning, and yeah, this is definitely something valuable.
Great. Yes. So if you want to learn more with Derek and other instructors at Ashton College, join us this September for CFP 01 and CFP 02, and we wish you all a great evening. Thank you.